And at the Mokgoro Enquiry in Centurion for cross-examination. Let's get more on this story now. SABC reporter Sipho Stuurman joins us now live from Centurion. Hey Sipho, thanks for joining us. The NPA's former deputy NDPP Willie Hofmeyr again taking the witness stand for cross-examination. Why were the proceedings halted last week, Sipho?
Well, a very good morning to you and our viewers at home. Indeed, Willie Hofmeyr is back at the hot seat for cross-examination, and the proceedings were halted last week essentially to allow him time to consult with senior counsel regarding the nature of the cross-examination. Now remember, Willie Hofmeyr's history has come to haunt him here at this inquiry, that in the sense that he played a crucial part in the decision to drop the corruption and fraud charges against a former President Zuma. Now, that was a monumental decision back in 2009, which paved the way for the president then to assume power at the Union buildings. So that decision subsequently, of course, with the DA going to various court battles, that decision was subsequently overturned, and so now that is the legal team of Advocate Jiba then wanted to cross-examine him on that decision, saying that he was not a credible witness because some of his decisions that he's taken as well, as a prosecutor, have also come under heavy scrutiny in courts. And of course, Willie Hofmeyr, protested against that, objected to that line of questioning, saying that this inquiry was not about his fitness to hold office. However, then the judge, that is Justice Mokgoro, ruled that indeed he should be questioned on his history regarding that decision to drop charges against Zuma. So that's where we at then. Willie Hofmeyr then wanted time then to consult his senior counsel so as to not give answers that may implicate him in any wrongdoing in the course of the cross-examination. But before we carry on with that, just to get a picture of this week, let me just quickly speak to Bongiwe here, the spokesperson of the inquiry. Thank you, Bongiwe. Talk to us about this week. We understand that we have Willie Hofmeyr continuing with the cross-examination. What else can we expect?
We are hopefully looking at Angela Grizzly agreeing to come through and have give his side of the story in as so far as the allegations that he made against the two advocates.
All right, so today we're concluding with Willie Hofmeyr, who's seemingly been on the stand for quite a lifetime, but we're concluding with him. This week you're saying that the only expected witness is a Grizzly, is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is. Once he has given us final confirmation, then we will be able to say to you, yes, he is coming through. But we are very hopeful at this stage that he will definitely say yes.
Well, what is final confirmation? Has the provisional said he's coming or he's not coming? Well, what is the sense? Because we're getting a bit of mixed messages from the ground that yes, he will be here on Friday. So what do we report to the people at home? It
was a matter of timing, whether or not he would be available on the proposed time that we and the date that we had asked him to come through, looking at the tight schedule that this inquiry is under and the pressure that we are under to make sure that we stick within the 4 months to submit the report. However, we have been in communication with him in writing to make sure that he understands that he only needs to focus his attention and his, insofar as the allegations that he has made, so that it makes it easier for him that he is in and out just for these two people that he's...
and the proposed and possible working day for Grizzly's testimony, as we understand it, it's later this week, possibly on Friday?
Possibly on Friday, yes.
All right, Bongwe, thank you very much. Well, there you have it, Blaine. Angela Grizzly, the former Bosasa COO, who made, those quite, damning allegations against the two advocates that are under fire here, that is Advocate Jiba and Mkhwebi, saying that they had received bribes between 10,000 and 100,000 monthly bribes to halt possible prosecutions. Of course, Grizzly gave that testimony at the State of Capture Commission, but now we know that he's been asked to also come here to give his testimony. This inquiry, the Mokgoro Enquiry, is looking, fitness to hold office of, senior NPA advocates, that is Advocate Jiba and Advocate Mkhwebi, and we understand that Grizzly will form as part of the witness list to give testimony against the two.
This case very closely. I just want to get a sense from you in terms of the fairness of the proceedings at the inquiry. What's the general sentiment? How is the inquiry being run?
So far we've heard about 12 witnesses that have been called to the stand, and the witnesses essentially all speaking to the charges that these two are facing. One of the charges is mishandling of high-profile cases and misconduct. So they're painting a picture of alleged interference at the NPA, especially under the tenure of Jiba, when Jiba was acting the head of the NPA. So most of the witnesses have given a testimony that speaks to that. Also interference in terms of handling of high-profile cases. So they've given testimony, playing along those lines. That the Richard Mdluli case comes up quite often because at the time, I think it was 2012, or when Richard Mdluli was the head of police crime intelligence, and he was believed to have strong political connections. So this was quite a strong case that was supposed to test the independence of the NPA. So certainly then the dropping of those charges against, or withdrawing of the charges against Mdluli, was seen then as some sort of a political interference. But we've heard witnesses here sort of conceding that, the withdrawing charges against Mdluli is a matter of opinion between prosecutors. Some prosecutors have agreed that perhaps at the time there was not enough evidence to go ahead and successfully win this matter on trial. Some seemingly disagree, but certainly that is the picture that is being painted here, Blaine. Of course, all of this is happening in the backdrop of an NPA that has a new head right now, that is Advocate Shamila Batoyi. We heard during the state of capture, we heard during the State of the Nation address in Parliament by President Cyril Ramaphosa that a new investigative directorate at the NPA is to be established. So there is a lot of work that is going into the NPA right now. NPA is trying to, get public confidence back, the public trust. So certainly it's now trying to clean its image while we have this inquiry into two of its senior advocates that is investigating their fitness to hold office. Of course, we don't know which way we'll go. Yep. We can't, predict which way it will go at this stage in time. But certainly, the witnesses that have been called up are painting a picture of, political interference and mishandling of profile cases by the two. Of course, these remain allegations at this point.
Indeed, they do. 10 o'clock, Sipho, is that when it's going to start?
Indeed, at 10 o'clock, that's when we're going to be starting. And as I mentioned to you again, is that cross-examination of the current deputy, that is Willie Hofmeyr, and I should be starting shortly here on SABC News.
Okay, I'm sure we're going to be streaming the Mokgoro Enquiry as well, www.sabcnews.com. We're also looking forward to the state capture inquiry starting at 10 o'clock as well.